So I'm using the beta drivers for the Lumina webcam on Windows, which came out on November 12th of 2021. Now it is very limited and also does have some known bugs with AMD CPUs and GPUs. If I turn on the camera blur, it'll actually flicker. Right now I'm using the microphone from the Lumina webcam itself, but let me turn on the blur and you'll see how it just like flickers. That is a known issue. And the cameraman seems to be just working fine. Now, one thing I notice is that the webcam resolution on when using the Lumina driver on Windows is that it is limited currently, or I haven't figured out how to change it to 1080p. But if I look at the raw camera, then it is 4K. Let's switch over to that. So here is the camera in raw 4K format. You can see the field of view is much greater, also because there's no cameraman, which automatically just like zooms in and crops where your face is on the screen. Tell me in the comment section down below what you think of this so far. Now I have an idea. I'm going to use NVIDIA Broadcast on this camera. Let's see how that looks. Alright, so now I'm recording in 4K using the NVIDIA Broadcast software, bringing in the Lumina camera raw feed at 3840 by 2160 at 30 frames per second. Now I'm going to turn on the background blur, and that is really blurry. Turn that down a bit. And again, this is using NVIDIA software, so interesting. So I've got to turn it all the way down. So that's the minimum. There's the maximum. There's the minimum. And I will turn it off now. There we go. Now I'll try using the auto frame in NVIDIA Broadcast. Alright, let's zoom in a little bit more. Well, tell me what you think down below. Now I'm going to use this microphone directly through NVIDIA Broadcast, as it is kind of noisy in my home office, and see what kind of difference it makes, if any. So let's see here. Okay, so now I have the Lumina microphone going through, and this is the raw feed, by the way, of the Lumina microphone that's built into the webcam, and that is being piped through NVIDIA Broadcast. I've got the noise removal set to probably around like 60% or so on the slider. Let me know what you think of this compared to the original raw feed. Now, when I did speak with Lumina, so from what I recall, they said that some of it is just native in the hardware, but they're still working on improving the software noise reduction that ultimately this camera will have. So let's do some testing with the microphone. Right now, this is going through NVIDIA Broadcast, but it is the raw microphone input from the Lumina webcam. Now the audio is going through a Blue Icicle USB to XLR adapter over to a Q Audio Q250 XLR shotgun microphone, which I have right here. Now this is definitely closer to me than what the webcam is, but if I move it back, this is approximately about the same distance as the webcam itself. So let me switch the audio back. And here is the raw audio again, but it is going through the NVIDIA Broadcast software to remove the ambient noise in my home office. Let me turn off the noise removal. Be real quiet here. Now, keeping the noise removal turned off, I'm going to switch the microphone back over to my XLR microphone at the same distance as the webcam on my desk here. So there is the XLR microphone. Let me move it just out of frame here. And how do I sound on this microphone compared to the others? Now remember, this is much closer, just barely out of frame. Now it is out of frame and about the same distance as the webcam itself. Well, this is interesting. For whatever reason, earlier the raw footage from the Lumina webcam was stuck at like 1080p, but now all of a sudden it's in 4K. And I am putting the video through the NVIDIA broadcast here. So it is the raw. I'll turn on the background blur here, see how that looks. Very artificial. That's under performance. Here's under quality. Now let me move this all the way down. It's not too bad. I'm still using the Q audio, and it's actually the Q210 shotgun mic right here. See that? So I don't know why it is now showing up as 4K, where beforehand it would only be 1080p. The only thing that makes sense to me is because it is, again, a beta driver. This is very early stages of this working on Windows. Now, what's kind of confusing is that, so when you install the driver, it shows up as the Lumina Camera Plus. When you see the Lumina Camera Raw, that is without any driver from my understanding. But I'll have to see what Lumina says exactly about that and see if that is an accurate statement or not. So when I originally just plugged it into my Windows computer and opened up the camera app, it did show the ability to take a photograph at 4K, but I didn't see any options to be able to change any of the video settings on the camera. So I'm not sure what it was recording at. I'll have to play with that a little bit. But anyways, here in NVIDIA Broadcast, again, it is using the raw camera at 3840 by 2160 at 30 frames per second. I turned on the background blur in NVIDIA Broadcast, and that is with it turned off. So let me know if you already pre-ordered one of these already, or if you already did receive one, and are you running on Mac or PC, and what do you think so far? Okay, so I got a brand new M1 Max recently, and when I first plugged in the Lumina, I had to re-log back in with the password that I created that I completely forgot what I created. So I have to reset the password, which I already put in the request to do so. And as soon as I go ahead and get a response on that, then I'll go ahead and make an upcoming video on it. Now, because it is in the beta program, I have to wait for somebody to actually manually send me the reset link, which kind of sucks. But again, it's beta, so when it's a full-fledged product, I don't foresee this being an issue. Now, what's interesting is that on Windows, it does not require you to log in. So I don't know if it's just because it's the first version of the beta driver, or if it's maybe something unique to Apple as a requirement to gather some type of telemetry or something from the drivers. I don't know yet. So I will reach out to them and see what information I can get. And if you haven't already seen my other video on the Lumina camera, go ahead and take a look at it somewhere over here, and I will catch you in the next one.